NYC gang war mapped. I'm all I know about NYC gang wars.
You might have seen.
All I know about NYC gang wars is that the woos. You fuck with the woo. It's just some music, to be honest. So that's about the extent of my from the stop. How to react to when you're full, but it's all you can eat. React to when you're full, but it's all you can eat. When you're full, but it's all you can eat. Send me the link, bro. Send me the link and I might react to it. We'll see.
You might have seen a map of New York City's subway lines or 5 boroughs, but you've probably never seen a map of New York City's gang war.
Can I name all the 5 boroughs? Brooklyn, Staten Island, Long Island. What's that other thing? Queens, Brooklyn, Harlem, that's it.
This isn't the Bloods versus Crips
Isn't that all of
or
them?
Gangster Disciples versus Black Disciples. New York City's gang war plays by a completely different set of rules. Take Brooklyn, for example. In Brownsville, the neighborhood with the highest concentration of public housing projects in the country, rival gangs are packed into an area known as the 1 Square Mile War. Here, 2 massive overarching alliances, the Woo and Chew, are locked.
The Woo and Chew, bro. I know the Woo. Shout out Pop Smoke, legend. Dude, this is crazy. This is actually
against each other. But the chaos doesn't stop there. Beneath those umbrellas,
dude, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I trust this guy.
but the chaos.
Do I trust this guy to tell me about the war between the Woo and the Chew in New York? I don't know if I'm
there. Beneath those umbrellas are dozens of smaller sets and internal wars, all fighting over the same blocks. Meanwhile, in Queens, entire neighborhoods like Shadyville have been controlled by gangs made up of teenagers, some as young as 14, carrying out shootings in broad daylight. And in the Bronx, the war has become even more public, where drill rappers, Instagram lives, diss tracks, and federal...
Well, I'll react to your video and play chess after this, bro. I've been waiting all day to watch this video. This is the video. And you gotta, like, go train in chess for a little bit, bro. Go watch a video on a good opening or something. I will come back.
Statements all feed into the same cycle of violence. From street crews in Brooklyn and the Bronx, to Dominican gangs in Washington Heights, Chinese street gangs in Chinatown, and even the 5 Italian mafia families still embedded across the city, are
the mafia still
mapping every gang down to the exact streets that they control. This is the New York City gang war mapped.
I'm low-key a big fan of this. I like when they do this. I'm a big fan of gang diplomacy. I like hearing about it. I like hearing the little stories about it.
To understand one of the biggest rivalries in this war, we need to zoom into the 1 Square Mile War, centered in the Brownsville neighborhood. As mentioned in the intro, Brownsville has the highest concentration of public housing projects in the country, and most of the gangs are based out of these projects. Most of the sets in this region are either under the Woo Alliance or the Chew Alliance. But these aren't single unified gangs with one leader calling every shot. The Chew's main sets are based in the Howard Houses, Tilden Houses, Marcus Garvey Village, the River.
How do they know this? Do they have an insider that is telling them all think of like how many people they had to interview just to get all the logistics of this. That's kind of crazy.
Newport Gardens, while the Woo main sets are based in the Seth Lowe houses, Van Dyke houses, Langston Hughes houses, the Brownsville houses, and the Noble Drew Ali Plaza. Chew members living in the Marcus Garvey Village and Tilden houses means that by crossing one street, Dumont Avenue, they're entering into enemy territory. On April 22nd, 2023, Chew member Brian Ramos and 2 other of his gang brothers walked into the Van Dyke housing projects. They approached a playground where children were playing and then spotted some of their rival Woos across the park. They opened fire, unleashing multiple rounds, and then fled the scene. Thankfully, nobody was injured, but the message was clear. Even a children's playground in broad daylight could become part of the gang war. And then on
Damn.
August 1st, 2023,
It really do
Wu
be like
member
that.
Deshaun Nimmons was walking with a group of his friends when they spotted a Chew member named Jeffrey Thomas inside a barbershop getting a haircut. This barbershop is called Champion Cuts and is in Wu territory at 557 Chester.
They're claiming barbershops? You can't go to a rival gang's barbershop? Damn, bro. You gotta get some like whack ass fade from your gang's barbershop. What if your barber goes to a new barbershop?
Street. Wu member Nimmons pulled a mask over his face, pulled out a gun, and fired into the barbershop, hoping to hit Jeffrey Thomas. Seconds later, Jeffrey emerged from the
Hoping to hit.
barbershop unhit and then returned fire at the group. No Wu members were hit, but a 69-year-old innocent bystander
no.
was struck in the torso as he was taking out the trash. This shows the
was that?
violence extends outside just the housing projects, where innocent bystanders are often caught in the crossfire.
Dude, poor guy.
This Wu versus Chew rivalry features some of the biggest names in rap, too. Pop Smoke and Bobby Shmurda were both
Yeah, this is how I knew about the Woo. Is because Pop Smoke and Bobby Shmurda. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know who the Chew has as rappers, but these two were kind of carrying the Woo scene. I haven't heard much about the Chew, so
part of sets
Maybe.
in the Wu Alliance, where Pop Smoke even titled one of his albums, Meet the Wu. Although in interviews, Pop Smoke would be sure to show that he's a loyal 092 gang member, a smaller set within the Wu Alliance.
I'm gonna ask you a question, you know what I'm saying? It ain't really hot or nothing like that, but yo, so like when niggas be saying woo, they talking about y'all niggas.
They talk about the whole flow. Let me tell you something. I'm on our too. All that woo shit, listen, I'm on our too. You heard, like, on our fucking from the floors, you feel me?
Oh, nice.
We in the owners right now, like,
Oh,
we in the
shit.
owners.
The old nines?
While Pop Smoke was tragically killed in California, Bobby Shmurda's rise was cut short when he was sentenced to 7 years in prison. He was sentenced to
Conspiracy.
prison for his role in GS9, a Brooklyn street gang connected to the larger Wu Alliance. In addition to Bobby's GS9 set, most of
Oh,
these
so he's
housing
from Brownsville.
complexes represent a different set of the Wus and Chews. For example, in the Van Dyke projects, the set of the Wu Alliance here are the Brothers Over Everything, or BOE gang. And then just across the Mother Gaston Boulevard in the Brownsville and Langston Hughes houses are the Only My Brothers, or OMB gang. As for the Chew Alliance in the region, the people in the Tilden houses are known as Jew, or Just on Her Own gang. The Chews in the Marcus Garvey village go by Hood Stars, and the Chews in the Riverdale homes go by Newport. With all these different sets
How do they
and
know
projects
this?
in the 1 square mile war, even Wu and Chew alliances fall apart. Where
This is how it feels when Channel 5 went to O Block. It was like, what is bro doing in O
different
Block?
sets will turn on each other. Very recently, on April 15th, 2026, 36 Wu and Chew members were arrested in a 188-count indictment that connects them to dozens of shootings across Brownsville. You can see how young these gang members are, where all 36 arrested.
What's the youngest one? There's a lot of 17-year-olds. I think the youngest is 17. Oldest 27. You 27, you still banging like that? Oh no, there's a 16-year-old too.
were between the ages of 16 to 27 years old. But the Wus and Chews aren't the only ones running this.
Dude, I just need to shut up. He's gonna tell me the answer.
South Brooklyn has its own gang war going on. Down near Sheepshead Bay, Brighton Beach, Coney Island, and Gravesend, some of the most dominant gangs are tied to the 59 Brims and Bloodhound Brims. These gangs are more spread out than the 1 square mile war, but have also recently found themselves in a massive indictment.
These are just some of the alleged members of the 59.
Let's see some of these names. Little Fort, Aunt B, Jet 6, Bully Hound, Mel, 40, Kenzo Hound, Two Straps. Sorry, that's not funny. Logan Cador, aka Two Straps. I wonder how he got that name. aka Chapo, D Gliz. I don't want to be known D Gliz. Rod, Ty Prime, Glogleash, and Rico.
Brim's Bloodhound Brims gang, 14 of them, including a 15-year-old, were charged with a 129-count indictment on murder and weapons possession for violent crimes committed throughout the Sheepshead Bay and Coney Island neighborhoods in 2021 and 2022.
After a failed attempt to target a rival, leaked text messages show that one member was frustrated when nobody was killed. A 59 Brims member, Antone, was asking about how it was a bad drill, and the others
Bro, don't tell me that's too don't tell me that's him.
Hit. Other members were seen saying things like, somebody's supposed to be in critical condition, gangsta. It was 4 of y'all, and we just gotta hit our targets. That's it. That's all, baby. But
damn, yeah, y'all need some target practice. Okay, just be a bot, so kind of hit better. And I'll come back to you after the game.
Move north and east,
and then we'll run a chess match before
the
next.
gang war starts to look much different. In Queens, most of the violence spreads across Jamaica, South Jamaica, and Queens Village.
Why are they Jamaica?
Teenagers have turned ordinary neighborhoods into a battleground. And speaking of a battleground, I feel like trying to manage a small business today is a battle.
Oh no, bro! You're telling me don't tell me there's an Odoo ad in the middle of my freaking gang war video. Yeah, no, bro.
War takes place in a section of Queens Village known as Shadyville. Shadyville became the home base.
Cannot be living in no place called Shadyville.
For the Badco Ballout Gang.
No way.
This is a larger
dude, I'm banned from New York after this.
55 neighborhood Crips and self-made Makbalas. The leader of the Badco Gang is a 21-year-old named Javon Adapoko. On the streets, though, he goes by Shady and is the leader of Shadyville. Shady would distribute loaded firearms out of his...
Damn, this guy's kind of head honcho. Shady's the leader of Shadyville.
Queens Village home.
So that's kind of tough.
Would supply these to younger gang members.
Dude, genuinely, watching like Snowfall made me want to trap out. Made me want to sell drugs. I was like, damn, bro. Maybe I should be selling drugs. Maybe that's my new life's purpose. And I think that's all it really takes is just an episode of Snowfall.
Just 14 or 15 years old, he would give these young teenagers permission to go after their rivals in the area. And this is actually a common practice across Queens.
And they say the gang leader of the A-Train moving Crips was actually a 33-year-old man who started training teens as young as 14, training them how to pull the trigger and who to shoot.
One of these young gang members, named Sean Chang, was nicknamed Broad Day for his success in carrying out shootings in broad daylight. But even Shady...
kind of a tough name. That's kind of a tough
to
name.
Carry out the hits himself. In November 2022, class had just been dismissed at North Queens Community High School. 18-year-old Mark Green was waiting for the bus outside the school on Main Street and 77th Avenue. Shady and another Badco gang member traveled from Queens Village into rival territory looking for Mark Green. To the Badco gang, this wasn't just about going after another rival. It was a message that even outside of Shadyville and even outside of a school in broad daylight, their rivals weren't safe. As students were leaving for the day, Shady and other gang members opened fire.
What? This is a goddamn massacre, bro. This is past gang violence.
So I just walked out of class, ran back into the school as shots rang out on the street. When EMS arrived, Mark Green was found face down on the pavement. He was taken to Jamaica. Fortunately, didn't survive. But the fact that this happened outside of the North Queens Community High School made the situation even darker. North Queens isn't a normal high school. It's a transfer school designed for students who are already behind or already struggling. The school's graduation rate is just 54%. So for many of the teenagers walking out of the building,
bro, deadass was in high school.
To be the thing that kept them away from the violence. But that afternoon, violence followed them right to the front door. But Queens is still mostly a block-by-block war shaped by smaller crews and neighborhood beef. In the Bronx, the gang violence is much more coordinated, more public, and far more famous. The major gangs in the Bronx are the YGs, the DOA gang, the OGs, the Slattery gang, and the OYs, which are mostly based in Manhattan, but are still very much relevant to the Bronx gang war for a reason we'll dive into. Similar
Okay.
to Brooklyn, these gangs control much of the public housing
Manhattan, yeah, I forgot
complexes
that too.
across the Bronx. If we start out with the YGs, this gang controls Mott Haven, Patterson, and the River Park Towers to the north. In the south, around Mott
Okay.
Haven and Patterson,
Yo, can I send you a vid? Yeah, send a vid, bro. Send the link. I will watch it after I a couple more minutes of this gang war
much of the
video.
YGs
I'm mad
beef
interested.
is with the OGs gang nearby. The OGs are primarily located in the Melrose and Jackson
Okay.
housing projects. They often go by Cortland over everything for having significant
Cortland over
control
everything.
over Cortland Avenue. Much of the violence along Cortland Avenue today stems back from one night on April 16th, 2012. A large group of YGs
So they said this group, they also got rappers. So Pop Smoke, Bobby Shmurda, Woo members from
were all
not
drinking
Brooklyn,
together in a
they're
bar.
from somewhere.
At a certain point, a debate broke out over which member puts in the most work for the gang. Nobody could
Okay.
agree who was the toughest member of the gang, so they decided to head into rival territory and find some ops or rivals.
He has a bit of a
The
list. He says
YGs
rival.
walked into the OG's territory in the Melrose houses. When the YGs got there, they spotted a 16-year-old OG's member, Noah Balla. The group of 20 YGs attacked the 16-year-old
Damn.
and began stomping on him until he was unconscious. Sadly, Noah was stomped to death that night right outside his own building. There wasn't a single
What?
gang member in the Bronx who didn't hear
Oh,
about
this-
Noah's death. After this brutal attack, the YGs suddenly had enemies all across the Bronx.
I can
One of
imagine.
their biggest rivals became DOA, a name that stands for Dead on Arrival, or also sometimes stands for Dumping on Anything. The feud between DOA
Okay.
and the YGs
I like the
had
first
already
one
been
more.
building, but it exploded after the death of Tanky Balla. Tanky was connected to Third Side, one of the groups under the larger DOA umbrella. According to reports, he was out looking for rivals when he crossed paths with members of 800 YGs, a specific YG set. During that encounter, Tanky was shot and killed. And because he
What?
was one of the most well-known people connected to DOA, his death turned an already tense rivalry into a much larger war. A few years later in 2021, famous drill rapper K-Flock got in a heated public
K-Flock.
Instagram
I don't know if I know
argument with
K-Flock.
another
Maybe
drill
I know a
rapper,
song.
Raw G's.
Maybe I know a song or two. It
K-Flock
sounds familiar.
belonged to DOA, and Raw G's was part of the YGs.
You never did nothing to me. You never even, bro. This was my first time.
Boy, you're a cat. You never
On
did nothing to me,
Instagram
though.
Live.
Really though, really did never did nothing. I ain't gonna lie, I really did shit to Doug. You know, what about my mother?
K-Flock became notorious for going on Instagram Live in rival gangs' territories.
It was so.
Okay.
They don't want to come out.
Look how comfortable I am on the block. That nigga's all in there.
Spinning on live.
Pussy.
K-Flock
This
would
is going
film
deep.
himself driving around in YG's territory to show how comfortable and confident he was. But the crazy part is, nothing would ever happen to him. Raw G saw this and challenged.
It sounds like this guy is like asking for something to happen to him. He's like, crazy part is, they ain't do nothing. They're kind of bitches. They should do
K-Flock
something about
to
it.
come back.
Started playing. Okay, I'm back. I started playing. When I was
Right
gone.
now, as we speak, you coming through hot and all live, blocking niggas off your lives, niggas can't see your shit. Like, what's up? Pop out. We out here. Yo, K-Flock, pop out. Pop out right now. Right now,
Okay.
as we speak. You wanna make shows? You gonna make shows too? Pop out.
K-Flock would
Six?
then go
Dude, how'd they get these videos? It had six viewers.
Right now.
Genuinely 6 viewers. How did they get these
You gonna make
videos?
shows too? Pop out.
K-Flock would then go back on Instagram Live the
Okay.
next day and threaten his rivals even more.
How you BK? Cause anybody can get shot. You talking? You dumb or something? You ain't saying. You ain't good. You ain't good. I ain't gonna lie. You not good.
K-Flock
How you
began
EBK?
rapping in May of 2020. He quickly gained traction in the Bronx drill scene by releasing popular songs like Op Spotter
Op
and
Stop.
Brotherly Love before dropping his debut
Op
mixtape
Spotter.
in 2021, the DOA tape. K-Flock became one of the most popular rappers the Bronx had ever seen, but
I
unfortunately,
was gonna say,
his
I think
rise
I know
to fame
K-Flock.
wouldn't last much longer. On December 16th, 2021, K-Flock was walking down West 151st Street in Harlem with his sister and a friend. They spotted one of their rival ops in a
Damn,
barber
how can you eat? Oh
shop.
wait, never mind.
The op in this barbershop was an original
Oh, well, barbershops, I'm realizing, don't go to barbershops in New York. I'm realizing that's the problem here.
youngin, or OY gang member named Oscar Hernandez. This section of Harlem that the barbershop was in OY territory and is more widely known as Sugar Hill. Oscar saw K-Flock was in his gang's territory and walked out of the barbershop to confront him. What happened next wasn't on security cam footage.
How did they even see K-Flock? K-Flock was like, he was all like, had the shiesty on, had the hoodie on. How did they even recognize
There was
K-Flock?
apparently a brief dispute, and then K-Flock pulled out a firearm and shot Oscar in the neck and back. K-Flock successfully fled the scene and was hiding back in the Bronx, but 7 days later, he turned himself in to the NYPD. K-Flock's defense team argued that K-Flock was acting in self-defense, and the jury ultimately agreed. Hernandez was also armed, and K-Flock was acquitted of the murder charge, but that didn't mean he was
K-Flock beat the case, bro.
Federal prosecutors had built a much larger case against him, accusing K-Flock of being a leader in the Southside and DOA gang under the RICO Act. Instead of focusing only on the Oscar Hernandez shooting, the feds argued that K-Flock was part of a much broader pattern of violence, including attempted murders in 2020 and 2021.
I mean, it probably
His
is, to be honest.
helped fuel the gang's streak of violence. His defense beat the murder charge, but it could not beat the larger federal RICO case. In the end, K-Flock was sentenced to 30 years in federal prison, cutting short what had been one of the fastest rising careers in Bronx rap. Back where K-Flock shot Oscar Hernandez, the Sugar Hill-based OY gang was outraged. The OYs dominate Sugar Hill, which spans from 151st Street to 159th Street, centered around Amsterdam Avenue and St. Nicholas Avenue. Through rappers like DD Osama, Sugar Hill D-Dot, and E-Dot Baby, Sugar Hill has become one of the most recognizable names in New York drill. But inside
Sugar
the
Hill
OY
got some
gang, they haven't always been fully united. In 2021, Sugar Hill Keem, a high-ranking OY member and rapper, accused another Sugar Hill rapper named Blockwork for cooperating with the police. Keem claimed that Blockwork had worked with the officers to get himself released from jail while other members stayed locked up. Almost immediately, major OY figures like Osama and Sugar Hill D-Dot sided with Keem. Blockwork denied the accusation through social media posts where he tried to clear his name. But by then, the split was already growing. Some parts of Sugar Hill became Team Keem, while other parts became Team Blockwork. OY members who supported Blockwork were harassed for standing with someone who others believed was a snitch. Eventually, Blockwork broke away from OY completely and released Switch Sides, a song built around his separation from the gang. Those who sided with Blockwork may have split off and went independent, but the vast majority of the OY gang was looking to grow much further. And in 2020, the largest gang alliance that the Bronx had ever seen started to form. The OGs began uniting with the OYs and the DOA gang to create an alliance called the O to the Sev. This alliance was formed to go after the YGs, the other large gang in the Bronx. Like a lot of the New York gang alliances, it was held together by music and mutual enemies. But also like many of the New York gang alliances, those connections can easily break apart.
Yeah, I assume they'd fight with each other.
The alliance began to crumble due to internal tensions involving E-Dot Baby. E-Dot Baby was one of the leaders of the OIs. E-Dot Baby had been seen in a video smoking and associating with members of the opposition, specifically the YGs.
Members of the opposition.
The DOA gang took this as a major sign of disrespect.
I love that there's a white guy commentating this.
Demanded that the OGs side with them and denounce E-Dot Baby. E-Dot Baby went to Instagram and posted that he never smoked with an op. The OGs believed E-Dot Baby and didn't want
Fair enough. I guess, you know, that you know, he nodded.
From the OIs, so the DOA gang left, leaving the OGs and the OIs in an alliance. This was a Manhattan and Bronx alliance that became the primary rival to K-Flock's DOA gang. The alliance was made even stronger after the tragic death of the OI member Nadia Osama. Nadia Osama was killed in July 2022 after a confrontation with a 15-year-old rival spilled into the 137th Street subway station in Harlem. Nadia and another person chased the rival gang member onto the platform. Nadia hit the rival in the head with a broomstick. The rival team then pulled out a knife and struck Nadia once in the abdomen. Naughty later died in the hospital.
A 15-year-old boy has been charged with killing another teen on a subway platform yesterday.
14-year-old
Naughty's
rapper.
death was mocked by rival gang members in a dance called the Naughty Bop. Teens would even get their unknowing teachers to participate in the dance.
Naughty bopping, punch in my head. Like, come here, gotta do it like this.
The OGs rallied behind the OYs during the Naughty Bop.
The Naughty
era.
Bop.
But although the OGs and the OYs attempted to maintain their secondary alliance, the pressure of high-profile deaths, musical egos, and even some RICO indictments eventually shattered the alliance. Today, the OGs have retreated to their Cortland Avenue strongholds. While the OGs, YGs, and the DOA gang have become the most recognizable names in Bronx drill, another gang is gaining its own violent reputation further north. Around Slattery Playground on
New
East
gang.
180th
Slattery Playground. Okay, I think rule 1 on how to stop these gang wars, we need to stop calling things Shadyville. We need to stop calling Slattery Playground I think there's a naming convention that's wrong here.
3rd Street, the Slattery gang became one of the most feared crews in the area. And what made them especially unique is that their leader was an 18-year-old girl. Nay Benz, a drill rapper from the 183rd Street area,
that's kind of hard.
As the shot caller for the Slattery gang.
That's pretty cool.
Police say you're a trigger puller. Police say you're a trigger puller. Is that true? What?
And she's lucky to go. These look like fake police officers.
In August 2024, Nay Benz, along with 19 other Slattery gang members, were hit with a massive 176-count indictment. The long indictment included charges related to attempted murder, first-degree robbery, carjacking, as well as criminal possession of a weapon. Prosecutors used Nay Benz's drill music and social media posts as evidence for the charges. But not every gang in New York operates like the drill crews. Some are much older, more organized, and built around a more solid structure. A perfect example of this are the extremely powerful Dominican gangs in New York, like the Trinitarians.
Dude, Dominican gangs are scary, bro. That's what I'll truly never fuck with, bro. The Dominicans, those are scary.
The Trinitarios were founded in the late 1980s and are based in the Dominican neighborhoods like Washington Heights and the West Bronx. Unlike the drill gangs we've talked about, the Trinitarios operate with a much more formal hierarchy. At the top are their leaders, often referred to as first chairs. Beneath them are the second chairs, and then at the bottom are the soldiers who carry out the orders on the streets. This structure makes the gang harder to crack because taking down one local crew doesn't necessarily destroy the larger network behind it. But like the drill gangs, the Trinitarios are also divided into many different sets that don't always get along with each other. One of the most famous examples of this exploded in 2018 in the Belmont section of the Bronx. That night, 15-year-old Alessandro Jr. Guzman Feliz was being chased through the streets by members of the Los Sordas set of the Trinitarios. They believed Jr. was connected to a rival set, but they actually had the wrong person. Jr. wasn't part of any gang at all. Jr. ran into a bodega near East 183rd Street and Bathgate Avenue trying to escape. But the group dragged him back outside, where he was attacked with knives and a machete. He managed to stumble towards the hospital only a block away, but he collapsed before he could make it.
The brutal murder of an innocent Bronx teen finally coming to a close nearly 5 years later. The last of the gang members found responsible for the death of 15-year-old Alessandro Jr. Guzman Feliz were sentenced today.
The Trinitarios do have outside rivals, but in New York, most of their violence comes from internal splits. Some of these notorious Trinitarios sets in Washington Heights include 7700, Los Malo Corita, and the Own Every Dollar, or OED set to the north. Different sets can operate almost like separate gangs, and when those sets turn on each other, the violence can become just as brutal as the war with an outside rival. But even mapping the drill gangs across Brooklyn, Queens, the Bronx, and Manhattan, as well as the Trinitarios,
Asian
there's
gangs?
still one criminal network in New York that sits in a category
the Mafia.
of its own. That criminal network is the New York City Mafia. To understand how the 5 Italian Mafia families still operate today, watch my full breakdown on Inside the New York City Mafia.
Good video. I'm surprised how much he was tapped in like that. white boy oblast a little bit.